processes on the former territory of the USSR. 11th November, a special session of the Supreme Soviet of the Republic, Petrosyan will officially accept his position. The delegation to lead talks with Azerbaijan was also selected. And these talks will be held on the 25th of October. Talks with Azerbaijan. Panic buying in expectation of price increases has been fueled by false rumors. In the store Kids World, much can still be bought, although one must expend some effort for this. Some useful things are found there. Of course, a lot of things are not to be found. We were shown the warehouses, although we did not expect to see them. We saw the same stuff in the warehouses as we saw in the counters, behind the counters. In the conditions of commodity famish, starvation, I must say that the Kids World the store sells 6 million rubles on a daily basis. Everything we get from the factories, we sell immediately. Of course, right next to the store, there's an active economic activity going on. There are different speculators selling their wares outside the store. Some of their stuff has been too small, and other stuff has been bought from other places, and they're sold at inflated prices. Deficits create more deficits, and the shortage of hard currency has led to a decrease of imports of Western goods. We used to sell export oil. Now Western exports sell that the USSR will have to buy oil from abroad. Oil, coal, and oil products cannot be developed or worked over in the USSR. And that also we have problems in discovering new oil fields, in developing new oil fields specifically. A new oil field has been found. It's called Daginsk. It's in the Okhotsk Sea, 35 kilometers from the border of Sakhalin. Depth of the sea is 36 meters deep. For more than 10 years, we have people working on the Sakhalin shelf. The current discovery is very important. 15 plateaus full of oil and gas. There are more plateaus, more levels of oil and fuel below these. So there's much work to be done in the future. But the problem is that the crisis has captured all spheres of our activity. Everybody can see that our oil fields have become a struggle for Western companies. The Norwegian government company, oil company, has met Russian businessmen to discuss oil trade. They are mercilessly exploiting. We're mercilessly exploiting our natural resources, selling them very cheaply. We're exporting them everywhere, very, very inexpensively. I'm not sure what will remain for our future generations, for our kids. If we conduct our business this way, we will be impoverished in the near future. We'll be more poor and poor. Burning oil fields is like burning bonds and stocks. Yes, I agree with you completely. Yes, we should not export refined oil. The companies that are doing this at the moment have the goal of exploiting everything. Okay. There are companies which you are for technological cooperation with the West, only cooperation on equal parity basis, not as beggars, but on an equal parity partner relations. French radio reports that the Red Cross has declared the possibility of chronic medical shortages and unsanitary conditions, that this will lead to 1.5 million casualties in Russia this winter. So we can only hope for charity from foreign firms since we lack hard currency. $18 million worth of medications and apparatus was passed over to us by 22 leading nations. Medical equipment, medicine for children. All this is very necessary, and thank you very much. We express great gratitude to the world for this. Although we would like to believe that in the future we'll see better times, and we'll not receive charity, but we'll have equal cooperation. The situation in which we are today must not depress any one of us. We will pass by this difficult stage in our history. And Russia, which has the greatest amount of resources, natural resources, and the very high potential of people, national potential, people desiring to work, of recreating their country. We will make excellent business partners in the future. Specialists believe that hard currency debt must be eliminated, and for local national governments to create better conditions for the production of medical products, and by 1995 to free these companies from tax, medical companies. But now we have the opportunity at best for barter. Ancient city of Eger in the region of Heves in Hungary. We were talking to the governor. What can you propose to us right now? To the mayors and leaders of different regions of the USSR. Yes, Jakub István, Hungarian representative who is speaking to the mayors of Soviet cities about barter conditions, barter relations. We are willing to exchange and provide vacation conditions for miners, for example, and different specialists in exchange for oil, raw materials, grains. And we're willing to work on a barter basis. You will not regret this. New relationship with Eastern Europe was discussed at the International Non-Governmental Organization on Eastern European Cooperation and Trade. So far today, this is the only organization which is trying to save the countries involved from economic crisis. The CMEA was a governmental organization. Ours has been initiated by people working in the non-governmental sphere. There is no government involvement. This is all based on market conditions. That's the main difference from what existed before. The organizers listed many factors which will lead to productive work from day one. That is mostly the mechanism worked out by Russian, Bulgarian, and American specialists. This mechanism has been tested in a company in the US and has worked successfully for 20 years. Another important factor, the organization West has introduced its own hard currency commodity, which will help the situation. Tonight, in St. Petersburg, Margaret Thatcher has arrived at the invitation of the international entrepreneurs of Eastern Europe and Asia. She's expected to make a speech. In the Kremlin, there's a meeting with the Trade Minister of Japan and Gorbachev. Itinakao discussed economic problems and how to use Japanese aid for oil production in the USSR. Japan is paying a lot of attention to the USSR right now, or former USSR. They are giving us $82.5 billion, hence changing their position. They no longer tie aid to freedom of the Kuril Islands. They explain this evolution for several reasons. They fear that Republic independence will make the responsibility for the Kuril Islands vague, and feel that perhaps that developments in Russia will allow the island situation to be resolved more expediently. As an official from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs declared that the aid to the USSR was given on a political basis. Soon there will be discussions on bringing out the training brigade